Hello folks, this is Scott with Dallas Paint Correction here in Dallas, Texas. I wanted to make a video. I had a subscriber send me a private message and ask me, Scott, what is the best all-purpose cleaner? What do you use? What all-purpose cleaner do you use? What super degreaser or degreasers do you use? Well, I've been doing this for a long time, and if you're anything like me, boy, I go all over the place. I'm always checking, trying new products, and this is what I pretty much have figured out after a long period of time of using all-purpose cleaners or super degreasers, and I just wanted to share it with that viewer that left me that nice comment and just wanted some advice on an all-purpose cleaner or a degreaser. Now, most of you, if you watch my channel, I talk about McGuires all-purpose cleaner. I like this stuff. Do I think this is the best all-purpose cleaner on the planet? Well, the simple answer is no. I have yet to find the best all-purpose cleaner. Oh my God, I'll leave all the chemicals behind. I'm in love with this particular cleaner and I'm done. I found it. There's no more searching. That unfortunately isn't going to happen. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Maybe somebody will blow me away, but I've tried them all, from Optimum Power Clean, what is it, One Enzite cockpit cleaner, Sonax cockpit cleaner. I've tried them all, and the reason why I keep going back to McGuires all-purpose cleaner is because I know what it's capable of doing. I know what it's not capable of doing. 99.9% of the time, it doesn't damage any material within the car, and I just get it. It makes sense in my world, and I always know what I'm going to get when I use it. So that's probably why I use it so often. There's probably guys out there that use other all-purpose cleaners for the same reason. They've just been using it so long, and they get it, they understand it, and it kind of makes sense in their world. And I give them 2 thumbs up. That's beautiful. But I've been using McGuires all-purpose cleaner for a really long time, and that's why I think it's one of the best for me, just because I get it, I understand it. I'll be awfully transparent about McGuires all-purpose cleaner here. There are times I don't like this stuff at all, and I'll tell you when. When you use this all-purpose cleaner, whether you're using it inside the car, I've used this stuff inside my home. If you happen to be downwind of it, if you catch a whiff of this chemical, it can catch you off guard. You can hack, you can cough. It can be a little harsh. So if you're really sensitive to alkaline cleaners, and that may be an issue for you, I think McGuires all-purpose cleaner may be a thumbs down for you. But I've used so many other type of all-purpose cleaners. Most of them are alkaline based. If they're not on a retail level, they're going to be a little bit strong. It's just something you're going to have to put up with or find something else. And I've got another chemical that doesn't give that effect, but it doesn't clean as well, and I'm going to talk about that in this video as well. But that's why I like McGuires all-purpose cleaner. It's priced right. You can dilute it 10 to 1, 8 to 1, 4 to 1. I really see no difference when I mix it 4 to 1 or 10 to 1, to be honest with you. Maybe I get a little bit more cutting power. I don't know if that's just me thinking that in my head. But for overall general purpose cleaning, this seems to be the one I go to about 95% of the time. Now, when it comes to, and I'm going to highlight chemical guys. I'm not a huge fan of chemical guys, but I'm going to give them a thumbs up on this particular cleaner here. It's their Nonsense Invisible Super Cleaner. It's colorless and it's odorless. And for the most part, that's true. But if you sprayed this in your hand and smelled it, it's got a little bit of a smell to it. But it's not as obnoxious as McGuires all-purpose cleaner, just to be completely honest. And the reason why I'm going to keep this stuff, I don't keep this stuff because I have deceived myself and said, boy, it's one of the greatest grease cutters out there. It's not. It's okay. It's about middle of the road. But what I do like about it, when I'm detailing a customer's cars that I might be taking care of weekly or monthly, where stains haven't gotten out of hand, I don't necessarily want to subject myself to McGuires all-purpose cleaner and get that strong alkaline smell that may make me gag or cough. So I'll use this product. It works great for that. So for cars that are relatively well maintained, you might be sensitive around alkaline-based cleaners or alkaline-based cleaners that are really strong. This stuff, I think, is a winner. It's a thumbs up for me. I like it because it is colorless. I think it's probably, maybe it's a little gimmick by chemical guys, but it works. It works for me when I don't want to be around these harsh chemicals when it's not needed. So That's one way I like this chemical, guys. And this nonsense cleaner, they say you can dilute this all the way to 20 to 1. To be honest with you, 20 to 1, it's almost like using water. I don't mean to be disrespectful or rude to chemical guys. I have to dilute it 10 to 1 or even use it straight sometimes to get some really good cutting power from it. So I would just warn you that if you're trying to buy this and you think you can go all the way down to 20 to 1, it may work if you're working on a relatively clean car, but if you come across a car that's pretty hammered, you're going to have to up it. You're going to have to up its dilution rate to 10 to 1 or even higher to get some good cutting power with it. But it doesn't have that strong smell, so that might be good for those who are sensitive to alkaline-based cleaners that can be a little harsh. Now, I'm going to throw chemical guys back into the mix here with their leather cleaner. I call this an all-purpose cleaner, a leather cleaner. It's colorless, it's odorless. I don't see the difference between this leather cleaner and chemical guys' nonsense invisible cleaner. I almost think they're the same thing, just bottled differently or have a different label on it. I'm probably wrong, but it smells the same, it reacts the same, it does the same thing as the nonsense does. I think they're the same type of chemical or pretty close to it. But their leather cleaner, again, it'll work, but you have to be, I have to use it straight when I'm working on some really hammered leather. But again, it has no smell to it, so I kind of like that, so I keep that in my arsenal. I've been using it. I don't use it all the time, but again, I'm testing some of these products. I give it 1 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down. Its cleaning ability is a little, the jury's out on it. It's the fact that it doesn't have any odor on it. Love it. That's great. That works wonderful. So for something that's not all that hammered, leather that's not all that hammered, relatively clean, this is good stuff. It'll work, and you don't have to worry about that choking effect from an alkaline-based cleaner that can be pretty harsh. Now, there's another chemical, and this is going to be really silly, but I test them all. And I actually watch other videos too, and I hear other guys in the industry talking about LA's Totally Awesome. This stuff is so cheap, it's worth trying. You'd almost be a fool not to try it. I think this thing cost me $1, and I think at the dollar store they have a bigger container that costs $1 or $2. I don't know what it is, but it's so cheap. And I use this stuff, and I get great results with it, with removing stains from carpets. I tend to have to be around 8 to 1, 5 to 1 with it for some heavy stains in carpets or fabric. I haven't seen it ruin any type of materials. Works really well on plastics and on the dashboard, which is interesting because of all the suggested areas you can clean on a car, it doesn't talk about using it on a dashboard or plastic. It does talk about vinyl. It does talk about engine areas. They tell you to use it straight on engines, on floor mats, 5 to 1. Doesn't really talk about dashboards or interior parts. I haven't seen an issue with it. 5 to 1, 8 to 1. It seems to have some great cutting power with it. I did have one issue where I tried it, and it really wasn't a big deal because I had an RV that had these black streaks. You see, those rubber seals around the RV windows? They'll start to streak, and then you'll get these black lines on the outside of a gel-coated RV. I used this stuff, I think 5 to 1. It removed that black streaking right off the side of the RV like it was nobody's business. I was completely impressed with it. But what it did was it kind of whitened or chalkened the gel coat, which wasn't a big deal. I only had to polish it and it was fine. But if you use this stuff around gel coat, whether it be an RV or a boat, I think it may be, again, it's just my opinion, it may be a little aggressive for some gel coat type of finishes, boats, RVs. Just double check for yourself. It may get the gel coat to get a little chalky looking, white looking. It's not the end of the world. It's pretty easy to polish. But if you don't know how to polish or you don't have a machine to polish gel coat, be a little careful around the outside of RVs and boats with this. Anywhere else inside the car on carpets for $1, it's dilutable all the way from 10 to 1, 15 to 1. It's worth trying. I'm not going to throw it away. It works really great on carpets. I've seen it remove some pretty heavy stains that McGuires all-purpose cleaner wouldn't remove, and it did it pretty well, and it doesn't ruin material. And for $1, who can go wrong? So I just wanted to throw it in there. You can use it straight on rubber wheels. It cuts through some pretty tough browning. I like it for that reason. I don't buy a lot of it. It's just when I'm in the dollar store, which seems to be almost every day, I'm buying toothbrushes, all sorts of stuff with auto detailing. And I pick this up. Maybe I'll grab 2 or 3 bottles of this stuff and use it as I work through the day and I do some testing with it. But I give it a thumbs up. I think it's a pretty good cleaner. And some guys probably who are just starting out could use this on a daily basis until you figure out what works best for you. Now, when it comes to, here's another, I'll call it an all-purpose cleaner, and I'm awfully impressed with it. As a professional detailer, it's almost like, wow, Purple Power, would you buy this stuff? I say yes, you should buy this stuff, but it's my opinion. For $5, this stuff here has impressed me. I use it 5-to-1, just like I use my McGuires Super Degreaser 5-to-1. It will cut through nasty browning on rubber tires, clean out wheel wells. Engine bays at 5-to-1 seems to work. Excuse me, seems to work really, really well. There's something very interesting about this stuff. Maybe one of you guys know, I haven't really done any investigation or tried to get any type of data on this, and typically I do. I think everything way too far. I don't think this is alkaline based. I think there's something else with this chemical. It's not alkaline based, it's something else. And what's very interesting is that they tell you it can be used around the automobile, it can be used on tires, it can be used on the engine bay, it can be used on the dashboard, carpets, chrome. And it's very interesting because the very first warning, it says do not use on exterior car surfaces. Well, a tire to me is an exterior car surface, so this is a little misleading with Purple Power. It also says, if you read on, don't use it on wheel rims. Well, if I plan on using this on a tire, most likely most of us are going to be using it on a tire that's attached to a wheel, unless you're cleaning tires that aren't attached to a wheel. Then, and I don't know who does that, maybe junkyards or whatever, or maybe you just have a collection of tires and you want to clean them. But my point is how in the world can they tell you that you can use it full strength on tires but keep it away from wheel rims? Well, here's the deal with a lot of these all-purpose cleaners, super degreasers. A lot of these companies are trying to cover their fanny. They don't want to get in trouble with any liability or you ruining anything. This Purple Power, I have not seen it become an issue on some polished aluminum wheels, but to be honest with you, even McGuires Super Degreaser can kind of, I want to say, return the uncoated polished aluminum back to an unpolished state. It can kind of dull the aluminum a little bit, but it's no big deal. You can just hand polish. It's not ruining it. This Purple Power, I use it 5-to-1 around wheels, around tires, the synthetic rubber tire. It cuts through browning just as well as Super Degreaser does. It cleans wheel wells just as great as Super Degreaser does. It cleans engine bays just as well as McGuires Super Degreaser does. And for $5 a gallon, readily available, you can walk into any Walmart and get it. I give it 2 thumbs up. I've been using it for several years. In fact, I didn't want to use it because I was kind of like, why would a professional detailer use Purple Power? It sounds like a, it sounds like a product like Simple Green. I want automotive detailing professional products. Well, folks, you don't necessarily have to overthink it. These products work just as well in certain scenarios, and that's why I give Purple Power 2 thumbs up. I use it all around the vehicle. I've used it on the dashboards, around plastic. I have not seen any issues with it ruining any materials. Usually on interior components like plastic or vinyl, I'll use it 10-to-1, 8-to-1 for the interior. On the outside, I'll use it 4-to-1 or 5-to-1 on wheels, engine bays, wheel wells. It seems to work just fine for me. Haven't had any issues with it saying keep it away from wheel rims, but I just wanted to bring up that point. A lot of these companies are going to cover their fannies and kind of scare you a little bit with these cleaners, but again, trust but verify. Check it out in your world. I haven't seen an issue with it, and I like Purple Power. I give it 2 thumbs up for $5. If you made it 10-to-1, that's 11 gallons. I don't know. Maybe LA's Totally Awesome is a better deal as far as price is concerned. But Purple Power is great in my opinion, especially for you new guys. You'll overthink it, I promise you. You'll think you'll need high-end, all-purpose cleaners. You'll try them all. I did. I spent a lot of money trying all sorts of all-purpose cleaners. It's the way I think a us guys think. You know, we keep thinking there's going to be something better around the corner, but really a lot of these all-purpose cleaners you can buy locally on a retail level. If you dilute them properly, you can get some really great effects. Now, as far as something that I want to talk about that I am in love with, and I haven't really shown its effect or talked about it when it comes to degreasing some really, really tough stuff. I do undercarriage cleaning under people's vehicles. I jack the car up, I put jack stands under there, I get under there with my power washer, I spray down the undercarriage, I scrub by hand. It's a tough, tough job, but there's good money in it. People have transmission leaks, fuel leaks, they want to get it off the undercarriage. Some people just want their undercarriage cleaned and detailed and dressed. And you know, if you're an auto detailer, kind of think outside the box. If you're okay with the liability, it is a little dangerous, so be careful. I'm not recommending it for everybody. But here's a cleaner that I love. And this is an alkaline-based cleaner. It's made by Zep. It's industrial power cleaner and degreaser. I have used this stuff under the undercarriage, under engines that has a lot of oil buildup around the oil pan, rubber hoses that may have so much dirt around the rubber hoses on the bottom of the engine. I've sprayed it with my super degreaser. My super degreaser can start to cut it, break it down. I may have to do 2 or 3 applications, agitate it with McGuires super degreaser. This stuff diluted 5:1 in a 32-ounce bottle. It's pretty aggressive at that. Be careful on your skin. It kind of messes with my skin a little bit. I'll break out a little bit, but I could just be sensitive to it. It may not bother you. This stuff, I have sprayed it on the bottom of an engine bay where the oil outlet is when you want to drain the oil, and there seems to be a lot of gunk up there. I can spray it on it. I've sprayed it on hoses that look like had dirt just caked on it for years and years and years. I've sprayed it, and I've actually watched it with my 2 eyes just kind of melt that dirt and grime even before I agitate it or spray it. I find with undercarriage cleaning, when I use this stuff 5:1 all around the undercarriage and then just use my power washer, there are times I don't even have to agitate. But I will recommend Zep Industrial Purple Cleaner and Degreaser. That's a tongue twister. But I'm going to tell you to be a little careful around it when it comes to the paint. You got to remember, clear coat on car is a form of plastic. This actually happens to be in plastic. But any type of degreaser, and this one's pretty strong, you can get it on the clear coat. Just make sure you're being diligent. Don't let it dry. Don't let it sit there. Don't forget it was there and then the customer drives off. And anything could potentially stain or harm plastic if it's left out in direct sunlight under some pretty harsh elements. So with this stuff here, with the Zep Industrial Degreaser, the purple degreaser, I use it in engine bays. But if I get any run over, any splash over onto the side of the car that's clear coated, I just make sure, like I would with a super degreaser, completely rinse it off, make sure there's no residue on the panel. But here's something that doesn't get talked about a lot because we don't see a lot of these cars anymore. And that's cars with single stage paint. Older vehicles built back in the 80s, some of them were built back in the early 90s. They don't have a clear coat. I don't care if you're using McGuires all-purpose cleaner, Purple Power, Zep, LA's Totally Awesome, Chemical Guys nonsense. You have to be a little careful. Again, you're not going to see it all the time, but you might run into it. Be careful on a single stage paint. Again, it doesn't have clear coat. This stuff, it will look like it will stain the paint. Basically, all you got to do is polish it, compound it and polish it, and it will return back to its natural beauty and shine. But any type of alkaline-based cleaner around single stage paint can run you into problems, and it's very rare. Most of you probably won't run into it. If you do, just keep in mind that any car that's got single stage paint, be careful with alkaline based cleaners. That's why a lot of these companies will say it will ruin paint. Well, for the average public, when they spray it on single stage paint, it will look like it ruined it. It can be compound, it can be polished, it's not permanent, but most people will freak out over it if they see it staining or whitening their paint on single stage paint. So I just wanted to bring that little side note to you because it's important. You may see those cars from time to time. The other cleaner that I use inside the vehicle is Optimum No Rinse, O&R, and this is just their wash and shine. It's not the wax version. You can dilute this stuff. I know it's 256:1 to put your 2-gallon of water and wash a car with it. You can put an ounce, half an ounce inside a 32-ounce bottle and use it as an interior cleaner. It's great for cars that are well maintained, don't have a lot of grease and grime in them. It'll cut through some of that stuff. But if you've got a car that's completely hammered, I mean, it hasn't been cleaned in years, this isn't going to be the best cleaner for you as far as removing that stuff off plastic and vinyl and leather and cloth. I wouldn't clean carpets with it. But overall, as if your car's on a regular maintenance program and you have customers that are using you on a maintenance program, this stuff works just as fine. It's great. It's dilutable. You can use it inside the interior. I just wanted to bring up that little side note because some guys tell me they use this exclusively for cleaning vehicles, and no judgment. If you're getting away with it, that's cool. I've just not seen this stuff be able to cut through serious grease and grime like a car that's been neglected for a couple of years. This would not be the product I would be grabbing for that, but that's just me. Maybe that's my world and I'm wrong. But the other thing, the last chemical I want to talk about, you guys have heard me talk about this chemical before. It doesn't have the cover on it, I'm sorry. This stuff is Citral, made by Schaefer's Oil. Removes residues, glues, road paint, road tar off clear-coated cars. I use it also 3-to-1, 5-to-1 on carpets that are heavily stained. I have so many different products I can go to, but this is an orange degreaser. It smells nice when you spray it. It smells like oranges, so that's kind of a plus. It's not cheap. It's $39 a gallon. It is dilutable, I think anywhere from 10-to-1 all the way to 1-to-1 or straight. I typically use it around the car. If I'm removing stickers off the inside of windows, a customer says, hey, can you get those stickers off that my kid put on the window? You pull the stickers off and there's residue. I use this straight in a microfiber towel. It'll take glue residue right off glass like it's nobody's business. I love it. You see me use it when I'm removing vinyl off a vehicle. Yes, there's a chemical out there called Rapid Remover, but it's like 50, 60 bucks a gallon. This is probably not as potent, not as strong as Rapid Remover, but it's a product that I want to have, and I wanted to bring it into the video because yes, you can use it on the interior, on plastics, on carpet. Again, I've got all these other cleaners. I typically don't do that with that. Citral I use for tar, real bad tar built up on cars, maybe spray paint that got on the side of a car. It will remove quite a bit of that for me, or any type of glue residue. So I wanted to put that in there as a cleaner I'm using pretty much on a daily basis with these other cleaners. Excuse me. I hope that's kind of helped you out. Again, McGuires Super Degreaser, I have it here. Another product I love, diluted, 5-to-1, 6-to-1, 4-to-1. It really doesn't matter. Cuts through grease and grime, works great on engine bays, even used it on the inside of the car. But I've seen Purple Power do amazing work, just like the Super Degreaser around tires, engine bay, $5 worth versus with Super Degreaser a gallon, like 20 bucks on a retail level. You don't have to overthink it. If you're getting into auto detailing, there are so many different products, and trust me, I will probably have 10 more products next month that I'm trying. Why do I do it? I love it. You know, I'm testing chemicals all the time. I like the way they work. I like, my brain just works that way. I like chemical components, and I'm always looking for the next best thing. But to be honest with you, every time I try that, I'm pleasing myself because I like trying things, testing things. I'm kind of like a gadget guy when it comes to chemicals.